Hi everybody, I'm Megan Sorrentino, head instructor of classical horsemanship in Fort Collins, Colorado. Today I'm going to talk to you about using your whip and some exercises you can do at home to help you get better technique with your whip. So let's talk about why we use the whip. So a lot of times people think that the whip is a device to cause the horse pain, and the way that we use the whip is an extension of your hand. When you're learning, this tool can be extremely awkward and not feel like it's an extension of your hand. So some of the exercises that I'm going to give you today are things that you can do at home to help you start to understand that feeling. So let's talk about what kind of whip you want to get. So you want to get a whip that's got a pretty good length on it, and you also want to get a whip that's pretty stiff. You don't want a whip that's super whippy. So you see how when I swish it through the air, it doesn't make a really high-pitched noise. The reason you want a stiffer whip is because the whippier whips are designed to cause the horse pain. And again, this is a device that is a tool, as an extension of our hand. It's not to cause the horse pain. Now that being said, there are some safety things. So if the horse decides to bite you or kick at you or strike, then you can use the whip to correct the horse, but it's always one time. When you get horses that are afraid of the whip, or people who have abused horses with whips, they always continually go after the horse. You only need to make a strong correction one time. Strong correction isn't always necessary. It takes a lot of practice to be fair with the horse, and you always want the punishment to fit the crime, is the way that I say it. Like I said though, this device should actually be used as an extension of your hand and be pleasurable for the horse, meaning that it can get the horse to relax, it can get the horse to stretch more, it can get the horse to soften. So when people are first learning, that can seem super awkward. Like I said, when you one of the things that you want to have when you have a good whip is you want to have a whip that has pretty good balance. So this whip is a custom whip that's pretty nice. So you see how it's got good balance. And then one of the exercises you can play with is getting it to move up and down and side to side on that balance point. So one of the reasons it's important to find this balance point is because that's how you want to hold the whip in your hand. You never want to hold the whip tight. You always want to hold the whip with a nice, open, relaxed hand. So see how I can just kind of bounce my whip up and down. It's not this that I do out here with my arm. It's something that I do close to my body. And so one of the exercises you can do to help you get that feeling is little circles. So making little circles and then making big circles. And you want to do this with both hands. And again, notice the mobility in my wrist and how it's a kind of flopping kind of action. One of the other exercises you can do is write your name in cursive with the whip, and using both hands is important. You can see that I'm right-handed and I should probably do these exercises at home more with my left hand. Other exercises that you can do with the whip are holding it from the tip. So you're going to want the handle part to be down. I know that you guys can't see this very well because of the camera angle, but you can see this top part of my whip. Here, I'll step back just a little bit. So one of the exercises you can do is having, again, the handle part be down and then doing figure eights with the whip. So you notice at first that it was kind of herky-jerky, but as I slow down and use my body, you see how it gets smoother, and then go the other way. So one of the points of doing these exercises is that your whip is an extension of your hand, and your hand is an extension of your core. So when you use the whip well, it should come from your center versus being something that you do out here. You can see how it's kind of chaotic when I detach my arms from my body and don't think about coming from my center. So when you're doing this exercise, if I think about doing it with my arm out here, you can see how awkward it is and how I don't have control of the whip versus if I do it in close, like so. And then one of the other exercises you can do with your whip is seeing if you can get it to move front to back and then change side to side. The interesting thing I always find is how little I have to move my body to get it to change. Left diagonal, right diagonal. Another exercise you can do at home is just rolling it around on your hands, just trying to get you to get that feel of the whip and increase the feeling in your hand. And again, going the other way. Another important thing about how you hold your whip is when you're working in hand, you always want to hold it so that the long part is coming out of your thumb and your first finger. That way I can rotate my whip almost 360 degrees versus if I hold it the way I would when I'm riding. I don't have as much mobility, and that creates a lot of tension through here. So anytime that you have tension through your arms, then you're going to create that tension through your whip or through the reins or the lunge line. I think that is it. So let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments, and I hope that this gives you some stuff to do with your whip at home.